Hello, Money Queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, best-selling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women. Hello, ladies and money queens. Welcome back to Women Behind the Millions, our season 3. Season is all dedicated to women going through divorce, post-divorce. Maybe you've just been thinking about it for a while and you want to know what are those next steps. I actually just met with a woman. She came into my office. She's a dear friend of mine, and she surprised me that she is now saying the D word out loud. And what she kept saying, and this is perfect tee up for tonight's episode, I just need to get a plan in place. I'm ready to take action. Right? You filter through the emotions, you've come to terms with it, you might be starting to heal as well, and she's really rising up. And our guest tonight is always known for saying, be the hero in your own story, and that's exactly what my dear friend is doing. She is rising up, and she's going to be the hero in her own story. I was reading something earlier today, and our guest tonight is the most positive person I've had the privilege of meeting. She's been on our show before, actually, our podcast version of Women Behind the Millions. She's amazing, but just her right of energy, her positivity in this world, I thought this was really perfect for tonight's episode. For that is what a miracle is, a shift in thinking, which then shifts your experience. The shift in perception, your willingness to look beyond appearances, enables you to invoke a different set of probabilities going forward. It enables you to see beyond what's happening to what could be happening, thus creating space for something new. And that's exactly what our goal is with this season and Women Behind the Millions, as well as our book that accompanies this season, Divorce Decoded, is to give you a new perception, a new array of possibilities, and to breathe the new life into what you're going through. All of our co-authors of Divorce Decoded have stepped into this thought leadership role because they want to make divorce a better experience for women, financially, emotionally, energetically, whether it's in their house, with their finances, even with their wardrobe, or their confidence as well for it. So you are in for a treat with tonight's episode. I'm going to bring on my co-host of the season, Donna Cates, the divorce source here at the Wealth Boutique. Welcome, Donna. How are you tonight?
I am doing fabulous, and thanks for having me here. I'm really excited about this entire season.
It's amazing. I was just telling somebody about this season that we're recording. Like, that sounds really juicy. A whole season dedicated to divorce. You must get into some things. Like, we do. It's not all gossip, though. I feel each episode's giving women real tools that they can put in their toolkit for when that time comes up in their divorce. What are you hoping the viewers and the readers of Divorce Decoded get from these resources we're putting together?
My hope is that any woman that's reading this book knows that we all get that divorce sucks, but we get to choose how we journey that path. And if you build the right team of professionals to support you through that process, you can come out on the other side of divorce being your own superhero.
Your own superhero, finding your superhero powers, the special pieces of you as well. And tonight we have one of your dear friends on the show. What are you looking forward to with our interview?
Well, with Jennifer, I call her my sunshine. She shows up and the world just gets brighter. So I know I'm excited for Jennifer to share her personal story, her journey that led her to doing the work that she's doing, and just shining that light so that we can all know how to work with her.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. So, Jennifer, let me give a brief introduction into Jennifer Perri. She is a transformational life and empowerment coach, a CDC certified divorce coach, 3-time bestselling author. Divorce Decoded is actually her 5th book that she has written or co-authored. She's spent over 2 decades helping women transform their lives. Jennifer's mission is to empower women to live financially fearless, embrace their inner worth, become the sheroes in their stories. Yes, ladies. And she's also the founder of Divorce Divas. We're going to get into that as well. And she's done 6 documentaries. So she has a lot on the publishing, authoring side of things, the production. It's amazing what this woman has built. And as you said, Donna, a huge bright ray of sunshine. So Jennifer Perri, welcome back to Women Behind the Millions. How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm great. It's good to see both of you again.
You too. We were just going over what we're going to ask her everything. Anything and everything. Hey, Jennifer, what is it like writing your now 5th book here?
Oh, it's really exciting. Every one of the projects I have an opportunity to work on is just, it adds different value. It brings different things to the table, and it's just a further exploration of my own journey as I help other people go through theirs. So it's really exciting. And I get to work on it with somebody who's, both of you are very dear to me, but Donna is really dear to me. So it's just nice to be able to work on a project with her.
Oh, yes. And give us a little sneak peek on what your other books are, the titles and what they're about.
So I have a book that's coming out May the 23rd of this year with Lisa Nichols. Very excited about that. Lisa is somebody that I have looked up to for many, many years. And having now, it's kind of manifesting something into your life, right? You love somebody, you admire them, you follow all their work. Now you're doing a book with them. So it's been a really exciting journey for me. That releases on May 23rd, and it's called Rise Up, Ignite Your Inner Fire. And it's about really, how the phoenix rises from the ashes as women. We know how strong we can be, especially when the fire's turned up. So I'm very excited about this. It's a book about courage and commitment. And I've got brought in with some other leading professionals from around the world that are just talking about their specific journeys of courage and commitment. And then last year I released a book with Dick Vitale, Never Give Up. Dick was actually going through his cancer journey as I was recovering from Guillain-Barré syndrome. Our families became very, very good friends. His wife, Lorraine, and my husband and I and Dick have stayed in touch. They're just incredible people. He's done a lot of amazing things for the V Foundation. And it was about literally never giving up, no matter what life throws at you. And then I did a book called Quiet and Badass, because that's what I'm not quiet. So I don't know how I got roped into that book, but I am a badass, and I have no problem telling anybody who'll listen that I am. And that was just about 18 women from across the world who came together, shared their journey of, cancer, surviving cancer, and just business struggles and life struggles. So that was just an exciting time too. And then I did a book with Jack Canfield called Dare to Succeed back in 2013. So it's just been a wonderful journey being able to do books with people that you love, admire, and follow, including Donna. And you.
I'm amazed at the people that you've surrounded yourself with, Jennifer. Looking back, let's say 10, 15 years, would you even imagine in the rooms with these people? I mean, that's just what you've been able to do for yourself. Right?
Would have never imagined it. I think coming out of I've been divorced multiple times, and coming out of my first marriage, I had no idea what my life was going to look like. And to sit and say, A, that I'd be alive, and then B, to be really taking all of my wounds and turning them into wisdom to help other women, I would have never understood where my life would have taken me. But it has opened up incredible doors because I treat people just like people. I appreciate them. I love them. I'm around a lot of celebrities. I've been blessed to meet some incredible people, but they're people and they want to be treated like people. So when Lisa and I talked about doing the book and agreed to that, she said, "You're not in my book. I'm in your book." Like, that's the kind of person that she is, just very just really respects each and every person that she meets. And I have such admiration for that. You treat people like people, you give them the love and respect that they deserve. Doesn't matter, what they do.
That is really, really beautiful, Jennifer. You mentioned you've been divorced multiple times. Is that what brought you to becoming a certified divorce coach, your work with Divorce Divas? Can you take us into that journey?
Sure. So when I went through divorce, I was very young, came right out of high school, full ride to college. My parents were going through a divorce. I got involved with a bad boy. Everybody said, let's not go that way. And I just ended up getting pregnant. My life shifted in a total different direction. And then within a year of us being together, I became a punching bag, and for a decade spent life. And the fact that I'm here is shocking. And so when I got out of that, luckily, I don't know, people ask me all the time, well, why didn't you just leave? When you ask somebody who's in it, who then is threatened, their children are threatened, all those things, you just say, you know what? You didn't walk in my shoes, so don't judge me. It's kind of like, don't tell me how to tie the laces in the shoes you never wore. And I just looked at it like, if it wasn't for what happened and the police taking him to prison, and, I don't know if I would have left. I don't know if I would have had the courage and the strength to leave, because I didn't know what was beyond it. So when I did, that happened, that forced me into a reality of, you got 2 little kids, your ex is in prison, you're going to have to figure this out. And that's what I did. I figured it out, and it wasn't easy. And I got involved in other relationships that weren't good choices for me. I was scrambling for survival and somebody just to be nice to me, to find a landing place for my children, to really give me help and hope for that. And I looked around for, people like myself to step in and say, we're there for you. We've got you. This is what you need to do. And there was no one. So I made it my mission to become who I needed and couldn't find. I wanted to become her for other women.
That is quite a story, Jennifer. And you're right, when people ask, well, why didn't you leave? You hear that all the time from outsiders, and they have no clue what's going on behind closed doors. And abuse is a form of control and entrapment.
Absolutely.
Go for it as well. Donna, how did you and Jennifer meet and forge this amazing relationship? It's so nice when you find people that you get to work with and you also have a personal relationship with as well. How did you two meet?
It's amazing. This world that we live in is really, really small. So you are familiar with FEM, the coaching program. I was in the coaching program at that time, and we were actually challenged to use LinkedIn as a marketing tool. So I actually put messages out on LinkedIn looking for specific people, and Jennifer popped into my world. And from the first conversation that we had, I was like, God works in mysterious ways. It was meant to be. And I want to take a minute, just a couple of things that Jennifer's already said that just really resonated with me. I want to make sure everybody hears it again. The fact that you went from the wounds to wisdom, that's we got to work through the wounds. In the lessons, the getting married or going out with the wrong people again and again. It's like life is going to keep handing us what we need to learn from until we learn it. So you walked that, and that's what puts you in such a powerful position to help women going through anything in life. And I think that's what makes you such a valuable resource, and why I'm so excited that you're in this book with us.
Yes. Are you sharing your journey in your chapter of Divorce Decoded, Jennifer?
I am, bits and pieces of it. Yes, I am for sure. I'm always, out of everything that I've been through, I try to be positive mindset, forward focused. Even if you fail forward, right? Don't go back the other way. So I'm taking people through what strategies that I worked with, understanding emotions and forgiveness and the power of a pause and the power of a pivot, like how it affected my life. And as I was going through different things, I am sharing bits and pieces of it for sure.
Yeah, your story is so empowering for everybody tuning in. The wounds to wisdom, pain to purpose. It's incredible. And if you can stop that cycle, as you said, Donna, because we repeat it until we learn that lesson. If hearing your story, Jennifer, and your tools and your wisdom can cut that cycle and make it shorter for somebody, they can move on. That right there is worth listening, hearing your story, reading your story as well.
I think one of the things that's going to be to make this anthology so valuable to women is that we're not just putting facts out there, we're actually sharing these personal experiences and transformations. And just even if just one person reads something and says, oh, I thought I was the only one, or I had no idea, I don't really have it as bad as I thought. Whatever. They're going to relate, they're going to understand, and they're going to feel heard. And I think that's one of the most valuable things that we're bringing to everyone.
Oh, I agree completely.
Yes. And I love to focus on, Jennifer, your work with women. What does it look like when somebody is thinking about divorce, maybe they're on the early onset of divorce? What does it look like when they work with you?
Well, everything is very client-centric. I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all. There are women that are going to come at all different paths. I've been seeing more women recently that are the one calling the shots, whereas before I saw women I was blindsided, or I didn't realize it, or I wanted to do marriage counseling, more of a being served the papers. I'm working with a lot of women recently who are coming in that are like, I'm taking the steps. Either because the spouse knows that it's over, but he's just going to ride it out, and she's got to be the one that takes the step forward. So I think, understanding that when somebody starts to work with me, I am a complete, no judgment zone. We are going to start where you're at. We're going to sort it out together. If you don't have your team assembled, we're going to, talk about who you need to have in your corner, the options that you have available. And just literally what is it that you're struggling with? I also try to get my clients really organized to a point of understanding, today, when you meet with me, we're going to talk about all the ugly, all the stuff. You're going to have your emotions. We're going to do what we need to do. We're not going to stay stuck in them. We're not going to continuously talk about your divorce story. Everything we are going to do is move you forward. My job is to get you through this process, empowered from the start all the way through. Not, we're going to get empowered after the fact. No, we are going to look at life as your best self. What does it mean for you? Start to redefine who you are. Start to reclaim your identity. So everything is very client focused. And I want my clients to get to a point where they no longer need me. And I have clients now that I can't get rid of, which is fine. They've been with me over 20 years. I love them. But now it's a journey we take together because they just want to know, hey, I've got you. I have a lot of clients that use me for what we call parking lot moments, where they're in the parking lot. They can't walk in to meet the ex. They can't go in and have a child exchange. They can't go back and do something. They have to go to a ballpark, or they have to go to a graduation, or they have to go to something that puts them in a situation I'm not comfortable. And we have the parking lot moments and the break the glass moments and the I need you. Just text me. Let me know I've got this. Because there are a lot of clients who don't believe completely in themselves. So they borrow my beliefs when they can't, and they give them back to me when it's over, so it's it's very client driven. Everything is completely modified for what they need. And I am by their side for as long as they need me.
Wow. I love the action oriented, very implementation oriented work that you do with them, Jennifer. What would you say are some of the big hurdles or moments where they can't quite seem to move forward, those standstills? What's keeping them stuck? You find that
I think for a lot of them, it's the fear of the unknown. It's the interaction. It's the, taking back their power and being completely terrified of that. And we implement ways that they can do that. If there's children involved, I try to keep them very focused on, listen, everything you're standing in the gap for your children, you're having communication around your children. Would you say that about your ex? If you were sitting in front of your children, even communication, we role play. I role play with my clients all the time, like, hey, are you sure you want to send that? How about you just take a pause and we talk about it? Or I send them into Our Family Wizard. I buy subscriptions of Our Family Wizard and I give them to my coaching clients who have children because I want them to understand, like, this is a way you have to communicate. There's a tone meter in there. If you're not quite sure how that sounds, you can run it through there and they'll say, hey, listen, it's still your, and I say the same thing. It's still your choice to send it or not. I'm just going to let you know. And the tools that we have are going to let you know if it sounds good or it doesn't. So I think it's literally just the process of reclaiming all the things that we willingly give up, right? Our identity, our, what we're doing, how we are defined, it's taking it back. And sometimes women are like, can I do this? I'm, waiting for the permission. So you are the only person that needs to grant permission in your life. But if you need me to kind of do it, I'm like, here you go, permission granted. It's just now helping them ease into things that they feel very comfortable with. And then once they get down that path, it's like, they'll pick up the phone or I'll get a text message and I'll look and I would have been on a call with a client and they're like, nope, I used our tools. I got it handled, So those are the things that excite me because, I love all the people I work with, but I don't want them to need me all the time. I want them to be standing in their own power, writing their own story. I'm just a chapter and a character that was in their book, but I want them to write their own stories.
You bring up one great example so that we can really see how you are very hands-on, the parking lot moments, right? Those can be very triggering moments, emotional. How do I deal with this? To the text and the emails. And you're right, especially with emails, it's hard to notice the tone on them. And usually, maybe everybody who's working for a boss should do this as well. Right? What's the tone coming back out? And we haven't talked about this yet on the show. Is like, who is that person becoming through the divorce of the journey? We've mentioned that there's a huge transformation. There's a lot of change, but finding out how is it that they want to stand up for themselves, by themselves. Huge shift in identity. Who is this person now? Not the identity being married to the ex-spouse, but how do they want to address people? How do they want to stand up for themselves or their kids? How do they want to show up in those parking lot moments and to have the guidance of you? And it's still their free will and how they want to do it. But it's almost, what would you even call it, Donna and Jennifer? It's amazing that you're able to help them objectively look at how they are showing up and how they sound. And that's an amazing software. Everybody needs the software.
Yeah. It is. And it's actually, if you don't know about it, I would encourage you to go out and look up Our Family Wizard. It's now actually even being written into, like, if you want it written into your settlement, there is actual verbiage that they use that you can present to your attorney to have it written in to the court documentation so that you have to use it. Because people can't delete the messages. They can't delete any communication. They can't sit and say, well, I'm supposed to have phone time. And you can see if the person, if you're calling through the app, you can see if the person is willfully sending it to voicemail so that they can come back and say, well, I was supposed to have a call and she never had the kids call. It is just very good. I could be there and help them as much as possible. But again, your kids are 8, 9, 10 years old. We're not going to be together for the next 8, 9, 10 years. You have to learn how to communicate. And this just timestamps everything. So it's definitely something to work out. I believe in it so much that I invest my money in it to gift it to clients who are not quite sure. And it's the first step in communicating because both parents have to agree to use the software. So it's just, you start out with these little things and, holding a mirror up to a client is really important. And I think at the beginning of our relationship, I'm like, born and raised in Philly. I talk really fast and I'm really direct because I love you. I care about you. I care about the success of you and your children and where you want to be in life. We need more empowered women in this world, but I'm going to have the hard conversations with you. And I've walked in your shoes. And you know what? I went down that road and it's a dead end. So let me save you all that time and aggravation. I'm going to keep you over here and you're going to take the high road even when he doesn't want to. So it's understanding. Now, I have a lot of clients who say, you're just really direct, or you don't understand how I feel. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do. And I spent 20 years of my life healing from my first marriage. Do you want to waste 20 years of your life doing that? Let's work on the tools and the skills and all the things that you need that I didn't have access to. So let's work on them together. And then you can fire me if you want to, but nobody fires me. We just continue on. So, but I think being invested in your clients and willing to have hard conversations because you're coming from a place of love and empowerment, like it's, if you tell them that on the front end, it's much easier for them to swallow it.
Yes, right. Is that hard pill to swallow? But once you do, you're grateful for it. And tool also, it just seems that it keeps bringing it back to the family, right? Putting the family first. We're investing into the family. Communication is huge. And I'm even seeing, you've seen mediations, let's say from estate issues. Not even, divorce isn't even included. And the media has to come in to settle those. This could be a huge tool for that as well.
Yeah, it's very important. It's a very important tool. I advocate for it as much as possible. And it's just a really great tool and great people who are behind the creation of it.
Yeah. Shameless plug here. That was
and I'm not an affiliate. I don't get paid for it. Nothing. I can just tell you that I see how well it works for families, and it gets them to a point of, hey, listen, we need to communicate for these kids. Like, let's do it. You know, being reluctant at first. I have some moms who are reluctant at first to post pictures in there to share. And I'm like, why? If you do that, do you understand? Do you think you understand that your children, they are half of your ex? So if you are coming at your ex, you are coming at half of what makes them a person. So think through that. You know, share information. People automatically want to block off social media and all that stuff. That's fine. If you don't want access to your personal life, that's fine. These are your children that you had together. They are half of each of you. So don't try to withhold it from each other. Just come to a place you feel comfortable. And if it's in there and you throw up a picture or two, I have seen it work miracles in front of people who could not talk whatsoever. And now it's kind of like, thanks for posting the picture. Or it's just good stuff. It gives you the feels good. You know, I mean, it's just good stuff.
Yeah. Yes. And to build a different kind of relationship.
Yep.
Sorry, Don, I was just saying to build a different kind of relationship. Build a different kind of relationship.
So I wanted to ask a question.
Yes, go ahead, Donna.
Okay, I'm getting feedback there. Sorry about that. Jennifer, I want to ask you this question because
Donna froze. We'll get her back soon.
Poor thing. She froze earlier today and she was just like mortified. It's a freeze day.
Oh, Donna, you froze there. Can you repeat the question?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm asking you, you're talking, Jennifer, about how you walk people through the process, and then they come out on the other side and they're still building and they're recreating themselves. So talk to us a little bit about the difference between working with a certified divorce coach like yourself and a counselor, because I've had people, when I've suggested that they work with someone like you, actually say, well, I'm already seeing a counselor, but it's a different focus. So can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. I have quite a few clients who are currently with therapists or counselors. And I think the biggest difference is I'm not diagnosing them. I'm not looking backwards and saying, you know, what happened in your childhood or where, you know, kind of what brought you to this point about how you feel certain ways, or, you know, I'm looking at where they're at right now and how I can best move forward with them. So I'm not coming in from clinical. It's more of I'm going to help you. We're going to co-create this life. I'm going to give you the tools. You're going to start doing what you need to do. I'm going to be there to support, encourage. You know, if we have to shift a little bit, I'm going to kind of give you the direction on what you need to look at or what you need to look for. I complement working with a therapist and counselor very well. I don't step on anybody's toes. I feel like the more people that you can have support you in your life, let alone your divorce journey, is the better. I mean, that's part of the reason why this book is going to be amazing, because of the people that you're bringing into it. You are essentially assembling the Avenger team for somebody who is going through divorce. You're bringing in people who every single person going through divorce needs to touch on or may need to touch on. And it's in a book. So you have it here. It's like an additional, toolkit or arrow in your quiver, or whatever you're going to call it. So it's just more understanding that I'm not going to get in the way. I'm not going to tell you don't need to see your counselor or your therapist. We're going to work at it together, and they're going to handle the deep emotional, diagnosed, clinical kind of thing. And I'm going to be here to really help you create a life going forward. And I do have clients to get to a point where they no longer need their counselor or their therapist, because they become so forward focused and, so resolved with what's happened, realizing that, I don't need to stay anchored to my past. Let me anchor into some really great things moving forward. So they will shift and they'll come to work with me. But again, I work with clients who have had very long relationships with therapists and counselors, and it's a beautiful relationship. We're just there to support them.
Yeah, great example, Jennifer, explaining the difference. Forward looking versus healing trauma, issues from the past as well. I would love to, as we're coming up to our next segment of the show, but I want to first talk about Divorce Divas. Where did this what amazing name, where did this idea come from, Jennifer?
So a client. So I'll tell you a little bit about it. I've had a financial career for 25 plus years. And 90% of my clients were divorcing women. So I knew as I built out what I was doing, I could help them from the financial side, insurance side of things, but then they would need to talk to a CPA, or they would have to work with a realtor, or, go and work with an attorney, or, find somebody along those lines that I didn't swim in those lanes. So I started creating a network, and I had a great referral network around. And then I had somebody reach out from another state and say, hey, do you have anybody in this state that works like you, works in that capacity? And I said, well, let me check for you. And I started doing some digging. But the name of it came up from, I speak at divorce care groups. And I had one client who just loved me. And she came up and she said, you should be the Divorce Divas. You should be like, you're a diva. You've had experience with this. You should just, and all the referrals that I had, all the referral community I had built were these kick-ass, I don't know if I can say that, but were these kick-ass women who were just owning it. They were experts in their field. And I built this team of amazing women. So my client wanted us to be called the Double Ds. And my estate planning attorney said, not me. I can't go by that name, but I can go by the Divorce Divas. So Divorce Divas was born about 7 years ago. And then at the end of last year, we decided we were going to take it nationwide. So we're slowly starting to crawl across the nation. I'm still healing and recovering from a pretty major medical thing in my life. So I'm trying to run I'm running a little slower than I did before, but it's just that we are duplicating essentially what I did here. And we want to make it to where now we've isolated about 14 different categories that people will need throughout their divorce journey, all the way down to people who help them move, things like that, female mechanics, all the things that you wouldn't think. But we're starting to put all of that together and then move across the country. And Donna is a huge part of that, and is standing strong there in her stilettos in Alabama. So, but it's great. We have a lot of fun with it. We are starting to accept some men into the program, only because they have a big calling for females. 2 of them had their mom. They were raised by single moms. Mm-hmm. They're very and passionate about female empowerment. So they're like, just call us the Divorce Dudes. We'll be fine.
The Divorce Dudes. Still Double Ds.
The Double Ds. Yeah, exactly.
Donna, what made you want to join Jennifer in becoming part of the Divorce Divas, becoming a Divorce Diva, I should say?
Yes. So I was excited because what she was building there is literally what I had been doing through my second Saturday divorce workshop. So I thought, okay, this just makes way too much sense. So we collaborated and decided to work on it together. And we are building slowly, but the thing about it is it's all quality over anything else. So we're getting the right people, in the organizations that are going to be there for the long haul.
I love that, the quality, doing the due diligence, team speak. As we know, when we're referring professionals to our clients, we want to make sure that those professionals take as good of care as we do of our clients. So the women knowing they're going to plug into this community, that everyone has their back and they have a certain caliber of service, degree of service, and relationships as well for it. Just incredible, Jennifer. Hear your story, multiple stories, how you've overcome even divorces, your medical condition, and you're still rising up. As your newest book that's coming out here, Rise Up. It'll actually be out when this episode airs in June. So everybody go ahead, look for Rise Up. Jennifer's amazing. You can tell she's a great storyteller. She has amazing experience and expertise, very knowledgeable. Thank you, Jennifer, so much for sharing some of your story. We could talk to you for days and days on it, but we are going to take a quick break. But you do not want to leave, because she's going to give her divorce tip, her divorce trend, and you can bet your ass, that's right, Jennifer, we can say ass, that it's going to be some good ones. So we will be right back.
Women are born connectors. Yes, we love to talk. We are comfortable crying around each other. But this is also what makes us real. We embrace being vulnerable with one another, and this dismantles that wall, the barrier that separates us from our clients. We aren't intimidating, we are real and honest. We aren't here to judge you, we are here to guide you. Women seeking their own healing from the traumas of life. We focus on personal growth, because if we grow, everyone around us will grow. That's how it works with women. That's how it works at the Women's Wealth Boutique. We bring everyone up with us. I'm grateful for the men in our lives to embrace this quality in us, who are comfortable in their own skin, to take a step back so we can shine. I'm so thankful for the blessing of my own husband, who lets my pink light shine all over. We work with and support all women in the financial industry at the Women's Wealth Boutique, female advisors, professionals, investors, and clients. Our mission is to guide women to invest their money where their heart is, whether that is in themselves, specialty investments, real estate, their own business, to help women spend where it feels good to them, not to anyone else, and to be who they are meant to be at the Women's Wealth Boutique.
All right, ladies, we are back with my co-hosts of the season, Donna Kate and Jennifer Perri, our guest tonight, one of our co-authors of Divorce Decoded. She is incredible. I was just thinking during the commercial break, sometimes, I'm sure this happens to you both as well, you're very surprised at who reaches out to you because they need help when it comes to a divorce. And we just had today alone, a dear friend of mine, who is that litigator, the attorney that's in your Divorce Decoded book? Like, it's Ann Edens. And I connected her with them. And then we have somebody, and this was post-divorce, but getting alimony, a lump sum alimony check. She's like, I needed a CPA. I'm like, Darlene Schaefer, who is our CPA in the Divorce Decoded book. You just never know. But that's what's nice about having this community, which you built, Jennifer, with Divorce Divas and through our book endeavors, is people come to you, they need help, and you can very easily pinpoint who's going to be a great professional, an ally for it too. Well, we're coming up to the segment of the show where we're going to go into some tips, some strategies all around divorce. So what, Jennifer, is your divorce tip for our ladies tonight? I can't wait to hear you.
My gosh, just one? I got to pick just one? No.
Give us a few. If you want to be abundant and we'll take it.
I think the biggest thing is just, as I meet women, they don't understand all the options that are available. And they automatically hear, oh, well, I have to mediate, or I have to go in and litigate. And I want them just to understand that there's so many different options of how you can do it. from self-representation that we don't all really support and encourage. However, it's an option. But understanding what mediation looks like, what the amicable divorce and collaborative divorce looks like, really just understanding what your options are and understanding that it's great to hear what your neighbor or your best friend, the person you sit next to church, what they suggest, all the things. They can give you advice, they can give you their guidance. Just don't let them have a say in your divorce process. This is your journey. This is your divorce. What may work for them may not work for you. So just make sure you understand all of your options and understand really who to go to and how to ask those questions. I know Donna is putting something together that is amazing for people that are going through and prepping for divorce. Questions you need to ask a financial person. I can certainly help too. Questions you need to ask a therapist or you need to ask somebody else. So you have a team of people that are supporting you in the Divorce Divas Network, in this book, in what you all do. So just make sure you understand your options all around. That is probably the biggest thing I can say, because I hear it more often than not, women didn't even understand like the difference between collaborative and amicable, or the difference between mediating and litigating. So I think just understand your options and then assemble the right team. And that team, first thing I can tell you is, if that team doesn't want you to assemble a team, go somewhere else, because you should be there. We do all rise together if we link arms, and there is not anybody. I mean, Donna reached out to me as somebody in finance to somebody in finance, and did I push her off? No, we have become the closest of friends because we are there to support each other. We looked at it as a way to collaborate and to best support the women that were in our lives. So work with people who understand the power and the importance of a team.
I love that you even said that there are options.
Yes.
Right? That, because a lot of times we're like, the divorce, I have no options. This is it. But there are multiple ways when you can go through the divorce to get divorced. And there you have your friends. It's kind of like knowing where to go to at what point, right? If you need to vent because he just pissed you off and you need to right, you go to that friend that's going to amp you up. But when it comes to money advice or legal advice, right, there are professionals there on purpose. And the fact that you said if that team doesn't want you to have a team, amen, Jennifer. That was good.
Yeah.
That was a round of applause right there. And
Yeah.
we talked about this before in the show, that people think having a team is going to cost them more money.
No.
The opposite can be true.
Absolutely.
Save you money. So don't be intimidated by that. Or how about, Donna, we've heard this too on the show, that this is what he said, so this is what must be.
Yeah.
And
No, we just take it. We assume if he has spoken it, that's the truth. And yeah, we just need to acknowledge, I hear what you're saying. Okay. And let it go.
Yes. Best thing you can say is, I hear that. I receive that, and I'll think about that.
Yes.
And I share this too. And I shared, this is probably a really good divorce tip too, is we are invited to a lot of things in our life. And you may have heard me say this. We are invited to a lot of things: birthday parties, dinner gatherings, events, whatever. Just because you're invited someplace doesn't mean you have to attend. You don't have to attend arguments. You don't have to attend people sucking you into their crazy. You don't have to attend everything that you're invited to. So if your ex or a coworker or a friend or whoever is trying to invite you into something that does not resonate with you, you don't need to accept the invitation.
Oh, there's an RSVP. That's a good one. I love the arguments. You do not have to attend the arguments. I'm RSVPing no to this. I will respectfully decline it and step back.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Followed by and I'll pray for you. That really doesn't it?
I send you love and kindness. Thanks. All right, Jennifer, how about your divorce trend? What have you been noticing lately in the divorce world, especially when it comes to women?
I think probably, I think it's probably still going on now. There's a lot of like commitment and cord cutting things that are going on with women that are, ceremonial ending of the relationship. So whether or not they're doing the rock throwing, where you gather rocks and you go out into the water and you just throw it and you're letting go of it, or you're cutting strings and burning them or whatever. I have clients that go out and shoot up their wedding dresses, whatever. It's just almost like a finality. Like, okay, this is over. I'm done this. I also sell commitment jewelry that, I say I sell it, but I give it away to my clients. It's little silicone rings, or I actually have a commitment to myself necklaces that if they need something when they're going into mediation or court, they have it on their hand. They can play with it. They can hold it. Just like, listen, out of all this, I'm committed to me. And that was a trend for a while. I was doing it before it really became a trend.
Did you start the trend?
I didn't. I'm sure somebody did. But, I've had a lot of clients who have said, hey, listen, if I'm in mediation, what can I do? Deep breathing or whatever. And I'm like, well, I got these little silicone bands. You just put them on there and you can just hold them and remember, this is for me. And it's something that not everybody else is paying attention to. And so it's just little things like that. And I think it's trendy. I don't know. But you walk out of it committed to yourself. And, so I would say there's probably a couple of the trends that I've seen.
I like those a lot. The symbolic ending.
Yes.
Shooting up the wedding dress. Sure. Okay. Why not?
I think they actually have a package for it in LA or no, in Las Vegas.
Oh, that makes more sense. Yes. Yeah. I could do that, right? Saging the house, maybe, doing whatever you need to do to close that chapter and move on. And I do like, because you think when you're anxious, you're usually trying to do something with your hands to get that energy out, having something that you can, that symbolic reminder as well for. Very interesting. I like this a lot. Jennifer, you bring lots to the table. My goodness, we could just keep going. It's clearly why we had to be back on the show as well. Donna, anything to add there?
No, I think the one thing, the trend that I think we're all realizing is that women are getting divorced when they're older, and that kind of shifts the entire conversation. But just seeing that trend, people are getting married later, so the early divorces aren't happening as much, and they're divorcing more after the age of 50 now.
Yes. Another trend that's not even divorce, but people just not even getting married.
Right.
Committing to long-term relationships, even having children together and whatnot, but not actually tying the knots. And there's pros and cons, obviously, to this and to marriage as well. But that will be interesting because it's still a separation of a household down the road. If you were to split up into, you're right, less young weddings and marriages. And I'm sure it's different in different areas of the country and the world as well. Yes, very, very good. Well, Jennifer, we just have one more question for you for tonight's show.
What makes you a woman behind the millions?
Oh my God, how cute. Is that your daughter?
That is Andy Grill. Yes, she loves being a part of the show. So I promised her she will have a piece in there. She obviously can't come to every recording.
Oh my God, she's so cute. Okay, so I think for me, I'm going to answer it in two ways. For somebody like myself who came out of a very, very horrible first relationship to now be sitting 30 plus years later in a very successful career, going and doing essentially anything that I want to, I would have never saw it and I would have never done it had I not taken a chance on myself. So I can tell you, as somebody who's been a millionaire for the past 12 years, believe in it. Know you may not know where you're going, but just keep moving forward. As far as me supporting the women who are out there, wealth is way more than just money. It's about living in an abundant life, having abundant relationships, living as your best self, and knowing that there is so much more out there for you and that the only life you should have is an extraordinary one. So it's very humbling, and I feel very blessed to be able to support some extremely extraordinary women who have achieved massive success in their life. And I think for me, knowing where they came from and being able to be part of their journey and also remembering my journey is just a beautiful thing.
Oh, very nice. Very nice, Jennifer. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I mean, for you to go through what you've gone through, but to make it your mission to give back in such an incredible way and in so many different ways too, from the book to the documentaries to your work on the financial side, the divorce coach as well, and being so courageous to share your story and to stand for something is incredible to see. So thank you for being part of Divorce Decoded. Thank you so much for being on our show again here at Women Behind the Millions. Thank you to our co-host, Donna Cates.
Yes.
As well. You can see the love in this room between the two of them. Very heart-centered work, which is hard to find in the financial industry, especially.
It really is. It really is. And the women and what you're doing, Jessica, with your organization and the Women's Wealth Boutique and all the amazing women that you are empowering who are going on to empower other women. Kudos to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. You are just trailblazing the way for us. So keep going. Rise up.
I have no choice, right? Let me just share this little thing before we wrap up. When I was paralyzed, for those of you who don't know that I was paralyzed a couple of years ago, go out to my website, watch my story. The number one song on my playlist, I had all this playlist of all these things with people talking about dancing and walking and all of that, was Rise Up. It was the very first song that was on there. And when I told Lisa that, and I found out that the name of the book, I'm like, there's no way I can't, like you. So you talk about full circle. Not only was it somebody I've admired and who I've followed and I have sucked in, her motivation to name your book after the number one song that I listened to over and over and over again and visualized myself walking to was Rise Up. So you have to go get the book. It's an amazing, it's just an amazing thing for me, to see something like that go full circle.
Oh yeah, I got goosebumps as you're telling that story. It's cold in my office. That is, yeah. Again, God works in amazing ways.
He sure does. Yeah.
With that, we'll end there, ladies. So trust the path that you are on. Trust that there's help out there for you. And as we started the show, leaving space for miracles to happen in your world.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jennifer and Donna. Thank you to all of our viewers for watching another episode of Women Behind the Millions. We will see you next Thursday night for our next show. Thank you, ladies. Goodbye, Money Queens.
Hey, Money Queens, looking to get your wealth to that next level, 7, 8, 9 figures? Follow us on Instagram at PinkFixMyMoney and at Women's Wealth Boutique for more millionaire money